Hi everyone, Craig Cottrell from the CMA. I hope you're well. Got some really exciting news. The CMA is partnered with PXG. So we're here today at the head office to meet Bex West to talk about the partnership, talk about how they're going to contribute to education. So let's see what she's got to say.
Yeah, so we'd just launched our introducer program, and we were looking at ways to get that out there to club managers, to golf pros, and how we could kind of, I suppose, tell the PXG story. Obviously, you reached out and said, "Can we have a cup of tea?" And so we did. We met here at our store in Surrey, and I think there was just a lot of things that we aligned on. There was a lot of things we're trying to do as a company that aligned with what you're trying to do with club managers. You know, we want to shake things up a little bit, be a bit of a market disruptor. We want to educate, as well as obviously we want to sell products. So hopefully it's a way in and a partnership that means your club managers benefit. We can help clubs generate more revenue by a slightly different, less traditional form of retail. And we can educate not only members of the public that decide they want new golf equipment, but also clubs on how retail can change and can be massive in providing not only product, but an experience for their members. Oh, I mean, so we're still classed as a startup. We are still a really young company. We're kind of in the US, it's 10 years. Over here, it's around 7. And I've been lucky to be, with PXG from the start. In the early days, everyone will remember, and a lot of people still think we are ridiculously expensive compared to everyone else. And, at the time we were turning out not many sets of golf clubs. The costs were incredibly high, how we create our product and the tech that goes into it, the forging processes. We forge everything 5 times. And I don't think people quite understand what that means and the cost that goes into doing that. And we had to pass that on to a customer in order to make a business viable. But as we've grown and as our market share has grown and as, our production capacity has gone through the roof, we're buying in much bigger quantities. So kind of scales of business have increased. We've been able to pass that on to the customer. So prices have come down. We're a lot more kind of market standard, but we've also had the benefit of bringing out historically our 0211 line that was an affordable club. It was the cheapest thing on the market from kind of a major brand. You could get a full set of golf clubs, 14 clubs, all fitted for kind of £1,300. So it's been a real shift. I mean, for the actual business in the UK, I first came out and hit the road, trying to get pros to buy off a piece of paper with no product of, this driver's £900, please, let's do a fitting day. And we've now got, a mobile team with fitters out there fitting at hubs across the country. We've got, in COVID, we set up a call centre, so we didn't have to furlough the fitters, and kind of said, if you can sell some kit over the phone and hit numbers, then absolutely brilliant. We won't have to furlough you. They hit all the sales numbers. So we've kept that, and that is still a massive part of our business today. And they manage the majority of our heroes side of the business, which is, veterans, police, first responders, that we give a special price list to, who, in some product lines get 40% off. Right. So that's been a huge part of our business over the last couple of years, and is really growing. This year has been like 15% of our business. We then decided a 12-week lead time's not great, building in Arizona at HQ. So we were like, okay, what can we do in the UK? So we set up our build facilities. We've got 31,000 square foot warehouse build. So we build for Europe, Middle East and Africa. And it's been a hell of a whirlwind getting it all up and running. It's not been without its difficulties, but it's a brilliant facility. And we opened it on the 4th of May in 2020. No, we didn't. 2022. And we then wanted to move on to retail. So in the US, we have 24 retail stores, and we wanted to create an absolutely unrivaled retail experience. No other manufacturers do it. We wanted basically a Disneyland for golfers was kind of the brief that we had. We wanted them to see the whole apparel range because there's never been anywhere anyone can see it. So we wanted to showcase our, the experience that we can give and do something a bit different. So this opened in November, 5 days a week. We very quickly had to move to 7 days a week and hire more fitters because it was really busy. And, it's been brilliant. The feedback we've had has just been wonderful, like the experience people have had, the amount of referrals and the people advocating for the brand after having the experience has been brilliant. So we train really well. But I think the key thing is the people we hire. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't have the team that we've got. We don't hire people, I suppose, as you would have historically. Like, we have club fitters who we hired that had never fitted a club. We have club builders who were florists. We hire people based on attitude, based on personality and how they would fit into the team. And also, I suppose, on whether they want to learn. Because we don't do things traditionally. So, other OEMs, how their fitters work, they might find it really difficult coming into our environment who don't do it how the industry has kind of known fitting be done. So it's really nice to get people on board whose skill sets we see and then cultivate them into kind of what we need and then develop them. So, the majority of my direct reports, Brittany, who heads up our sales and support, so the call center side of things, came on board as an email specialist. So we want our teams to progress. Tom, who heads up the whole mobile team, he came on board as like on the phones, answering calls in customer service, and now he's heading up the fitting team. So it's all very much about development and finding personalities that want to learn. And I think the big thing for us is it's about how you build trust with your customer. So we teach how you build trust, what the key pillars of that are, and how you build those relationships. We want someone to be in PXG for the foreseeable. We want to arm them with, the 5 or 6 facts that they need to be able to go tell their 4-ball at the weekend why they've just spent whatever they've spent on PXG. We want them to advocate on our behalf. And we're seeing more and more of our customers that come and get fitted when they tick the box of how have you heard about PXG. It's a referral. So we know we're doing something right.
Best kind of business, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that is snowballing. So I think getting the right people on board is massive, but also giving them the ability to grow. And to, people have their own goals. And I think with PXG, we want to know what those goals are and we want to help them get there. In the store, two of the guys in the store were club builders that wanted to look at doing the PGA, that wanted to, go more into this side of it. They're now full-time store fitters. They love what they do. They're passing on the knowledge that they're learning. And to some extent, again, if they turn around to us and go, actually, I want to do whatever it might be working wholesale, selling into accounts in Germany or wherever, we will help them try get to a point where when it's right for the company, that is what we do for them. In the US, we see real value in supporting university teams. And I mean, in the early days before we manufactured a golf ball, Mr. Parsons would go to all the players in all of our various university teams that were sponsored, which were men and women's teams, which not many brands support both. He also asked them what golf ball they play, whether it be Titleist, TaylorMade, whatever, and bought them their year's supply of golf balls. So they didn't have to worry about a thing, even though it might be one of our competitors, we wanted them to be set up for the year. Obviously now we'd like them to play a PXG golf ball. So yeah, and we're now starting to see the fruition from that of, we supported them 7-8 years ago, and we're starting to see that PXG kind of cohort come through that were at university that then have been on Corn Ferry and are coming through onto the PGA Tour. So it's that development. And likewise with us, this side of the pond, we have a really young leadership team. I think our average age is probably around 30 of our leadership team, from a sales side of things, which, is for the industry is crazy. I'm 31 and I'm sat looking after what I'm looking after. It is fairly rare. But I think it gives a whole different spin on things. It's a whole different set of eyes that maybe haven't done it a certain way for a long time. It's a different way of viewing things. It's almost that understanding of just because it's been done that way for however long doesn't mean it still has to be done that way for another however long. I think see things differently, bringing new young people that are not from golf into a golf environment that have got a really brilliant skill set. They will see things like, a perfect example, Lauren, who is kind of commercial HR manager, not in golf, but sees things from a commercial standpoint and sees things that we should be doing almost from a consumer standpoint of this is probably what they want.
Yeah, it's a different lens, isn't it?
Absolutely different lens. And we welcome that. We're not afraid to be told we need to do things differently. We're not afraid to be told, actually, this is probably a better way. And because we have a young and a very open-minded team, anyone in the business can have an impact. So whether it's a club builder, whether it's someone in the call centre, anyone might have $1 million idea. And we are absolutely, if they have the idea and it's the right thing for the business, we'll do it. Like it's very kind of open and you can really have that impact.
Feel like you're contributing.
And feel like you're part of something bigger, which I think, again, it motivates people and it creates that culture that you want in the workplace. The retail side of it, we're very good at retail. We've created a business doing it. The fitting side of things where there's, education there. But I think we offer insight into the industry. We offer insight into you don't need to do what has always been done. You can do things differently and it be, very successful. We're sat in this building because we've done things differently. And I think there's also the element of traditional golf retail is really hard. It's a really hard thing to do. It's a really hard thing to please everyone. And it's a hard thing to, make money from when, as club managers, as a club pro, you're trying to spin so many plates. So I think it's that change isn't a bad thing. Doing things differently can sometimes be massive and a really big benefit to the business.
Yeah, that innovation piece.
Absolutely. And I think education, has always, sometimes it gets a bit one-track minded. It's a bit, we've done things like this for however long. And sometimes people need to shake it up. And I think that's what you're doing. You're doing things differently and giving people a different view on things, which, again, is what we're trying to do. I think we want to be able to provide a platform for the club managers to, we have this unbelievable facility. We'd love for your members to say, right, 24 members from the club, we're going to do a PXG night. We've got simulators, we've got beer, come and do an event, get your teaching pros to come. Let's create some, some good experiences for your members. The facility for your members will be free to use. If you bring 24 people, we'll put a driver into the mix for you so you can do a long drive, comp, whatever you want to do. And we'll give our staff. So, your members can get fitted, they can have this experience that they just wouldn't have had. Something different, something to kind of diversify the experiences that you give into members. We are probably the prime example of a brand breaking into an industry that has been monopolised to some extent by some really big players for the last however many decades. I'll never forget in my first couple of weeks, I was in a pro shop and I was told, PXG will be a flash in the pan. And it's one of those things that really sticks with me, those things that kind of make you dig down and go, yeah, actually, I'm going to prove you wrong. And they didn't want to deal with us, which is absolutely fine. Our big thing is we want to work with people who want to work with us. And if you don't, and we don't fit your model 100%, we are absolutely fine with that. But I think from that maybe first year I was on the road where I opened 200 accounts, I saw probably 300 club pros. There was probably 40 that were just like, absolutely not, like, it's not going to work. I would say more than half of those have come back since and said, actually, can can we have a fitting day? Can we have an account? So I think it's that changing mindset if it has been done a certain way and it should be done that way. It's not the case. It's not the case. We need to think outside the box. We need to have new ideas. And like I said, we need to treat golf clubs as a business. And that's why, obviously, we set up the Introducer program, because from being, a club pro myself, you're competing with online retailers, you're price matching stuff, you then get margin erosion because you've got stock left that you're having to, reduce the price of, or new models come out and you have to reduce price. You don't have any of that if you work with PXG. So our Introducer program basically means you send people to us, we'll give them this experience at our facilities across the UK, and we'll send you the margin you would have made, the full margin, had you been stocking it on launch day. We deal with any customer service issues. We ship it direct to the consumer, so you don't need to then be signing for parcels or sending stuff back if it goes wrong. We deal with everything, but you make the money on it. So it's a kind of no risk. If you want to stock products, you can. We don't need you to stock a golf ball. All we kind of need is, if you send an email out to your members, or, when you're teaching Mr. Smith on a Tuesday morning, you say, oh yeah, we're working with PXG, so they know they're still supporting you, or they're still supporting the club, then, we'll do the rest. So we launched it 3 months ago and we've had just short of 70 sign up. And, we're at the stage this week where we're writing the checks to those that have got on board, and some of them we're writing checks for thousands of pounds for literally sending people to us and referring people. So it's a really easy way of doing business that's just zero risk. There is nothing that we really need. And it does sound a bit daft, I suppose. And the big question we've been asked is, what's the catch? Which I understand, but there isn't one. We want to fit your customers, and the chances are we probably are fitting them anyway. They are coming to us. We fit hundreds of people a week that are members at clubs, and we're going to take payment regardless, so you might as well be getting a cut of it. And if you can then push that few extra people, then everyone wins. Yeah, absolutely. And again, thank you for obviously giving us the opportunity to get the word out there, to work with you. And I think it's the start of a really interesting journey for both parties. We're really looking forward to it, and anything we can do to help, obviously, you know where we are.